Welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience, a motivational podcast relating to the insurance brokerage industry and business in general. And now, here's Bill Levinson.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's Bill Levinson from the Bill Levinson Experience. As always, we have another awesome guest speaker on today's episode. I am very, very excited about today's call, and the reason why is because, first of all, it's the first woman that we've ever had as a speaker on the Bill Levinson Experience. We're fairly new. We just started in January of 2019, so we're going to have some awesome female entrepreneurs to come, but Sahar Ismail is the first, and we're very, very delighted to have her join us today. So real quick, take out a pen and paper. As I always say, you're going to learn some great information on today's call. I promise you that. I always say it's my goal to make sure everyone walks away with some nuggets that you can use in your everyday practice if you're in our industry or not. That is my goal and my vision for this podcast. So very, very important to me. So let's just jump right in here. So Sahar is a very, very interesting person that created an amazing company and a technology platform that, in my opinion, is second to none in our industry, okay? And what's so neat about this, her company, Legacy Armour, aligns perfectly with Levinson and Associates in a way that we're both looking to disrupt the industry with our value-add platform or platforms, if you will. So what she brings to the table and what Levinson and Associates brings to the table align perfectly, and that's what we're going to dive into on today's call. So I'm going to give you a quick little bio on Sahar, and then we're going to jump into a few questions, and then I want her to give some advice to everybody, okay, if you're in our industry or you're not, if you're in your teens or you just graduated college or you're an industry veteran, a pro, I think everyone can relate to her message in today's call. So real quick, Sahar has a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and a master's degree in security technology from the University of Minnesota. She's multilingual and has worked for several Fortune 50 companies in technical leadership positions. Sahar also holds multiple patents in encryption, algorithms, and security, and is the co-founder and CEO for Legacy Armour. So, and this is also interesting to me. So one of the carriers that we represent, in fact, they're one of our core companies, is Minnesota Life Securian. And it's funny because right before we joined forces, they actually received an award. And I want to just mention this quick one-liner, what the award was about. So 2018 winner of a Securian Financial Sponsored Award for Innovation Shaping the Future of Financial Services or Life Insurance through Technology. So that, to me, is huge. That's priceless. First of all, we know how many layers of compliance these carriers have, and when a carrier takes notice like that, we have to take notice. As an IMO or an insurance distributing company, I have to scratch my head and say, oh my gosh, this is something we have to dive further into. And then when I met Sahar, I was so intrigued. She actually flew down here from Minnesota with her fiance, and we went out to dinner, and we met in person for the first time. We had several meetings before this, but this was the first official meeting face to face. And everything that we spoke about and our beliefs and, everything that we dove into with the vision of our companies and how we're going to help agents and the future of the insurance industry was exactly coming from the same space. So it's just so nice to hear that. And I'm telling you, I was just blown away by our meeting and our dinner. And, here we are, fast forward today, we are helping all of our agents by utilizing this very cool platform. I'm not even going to tell you, you're probably thinking, what is it already? Tell me, Bill. But I'm going to wait just a little bit longer before we introduce the platform. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little background on how we met and how this whole thing started. And now what I want to do is introduce you to Sahar. And I want to first thank her for joining us today and taking the time. So thank you, Sahar. I want to just start off, if we can. Yep, of course, of course. I want to just start off and ask you, if you don't mind explaining, how it all began for you, like growing up and your education, and then how you wound up in the tech world, and maybe your first business or career path. Let's take you way back, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you, Bill, for this awesome introduction. And I just want to share with everybody, I share the same sentiment and feelings in terms of this relationship that I'm so excited about between Legacy Armour and Levinson and Associates. We are going to disrupt the insurance industry together. The leaderships are just absolutely aligned in terms of the mission statement, the short-term and long-term goals. It's just a perfect fit. So I'm actually excited to be talking to you and everybody else here today about this partnership and also our future goals together. So yes, absolutely, that is definitely what I wanted to let everybody know about, and then I can certainly share with you how we started the company and where we're heading, and the lessons learned, the good and the bad and the ugly, and just just hopefully that everybody will benefit from that. So back to your question, Bill, how did we start the company, correct? Is that what you wanted to know?
Yeah. Well,
right.
If we can go back a little bit further, just if you can, even before Legacy Armour was started, like maybe about you growing up and then education-wise, and then what led you down the tech road, and then maybe the first career path, maybe before Legacy Armour. Just give us a little background history, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I have always been a techie at heart. In fact, I do remember growing up that, working with my parents, they were both teachers. My father got his PhD from Boston University in the educational fields, and it was a very disciplined, upbringing in terms of, okay, this is right, this is wrong. It was very clear to them what the children had to follow versus not. I basically learned from this that when you are in some sort of an important field for you, or something that you actually care about, then at least what you have to try to strive towards is some form of I'm not going to say always, perfection, but trying to work towards achieving your goals with the utmost discipline possible. Obviously with some flexibility because, things happen, but at least that was for the most, the clearest lesson from that upbringing. And I did apply that towards technology. As I was growing up, I wanted to do more than just what girls, quote unquote, were expected to do. I would try to build things. I would try to break things and reassemble radios and try to work in the garage. And yes, I broke some of my father's equipment. I couldn't reassemble it back, but it was always something that I felt rewarded and satisfied to do. And then as I got towards high school and got into the university, engineering was definitely the perfect fit for me, and that's where I got into electrical engineering. I was one of the few women out of a 400 basically alumni that year of graduation, and it was very hard for me. I did not feel like there was a fit, right? It was very hard because you're competing and you're working against what is expected of you at that time. It really gave me more motivation to focus on my goals as an electrical engineer And in fact, I landed, my first job was working with a Microsoft training program for developing some of their laser printers fonts in different languages. And that's where I started getting interested in additional languages. Anyway, as I progressed through my career, it was all focused on technology. So I moved from, electrical engineering towards software development, and from that towards enterprise architecture, and from that into management. And that is really what I started to feel a lot of that experience interacting with people in the technology field. There are a lot of soft skills and other additional, it's not just technical skills. You start growing and developing additional skills where you're working with those people and you're learning how to be basically their servant to be a good leader. And all of this led towards the ultimate passion for me, which is starting an entrepreneurship and starting a business someday. So to me, it feels like all of these events were destined, and some of them obviously deliberately from my end, because I wanted to head towards that one goal, which is apply all of this passion, all of these skills towards hopefully one day running a successful business. And, it's still in progress, obviously. You always have opportunities to improve. So, yes, that's my story.
Very, very, very impressive. Let me ask you, and I think everybody would love to hear this too. What did you keep so focused on, and what helped you through all the years and the pushbacks and the obstacles? What made you so driven, day in and day out, and pushed you? I'm sure you had a lot of adversity you had to deal with, and people saying, I think you should work here forever and work your way up in the ranks, or maybe said, hey, this wasn't for you. Whatever the case was, what really kept you motivated day in and day out?
It's absolutely dealing with that adversity. I mean, it does. This is not a cliche. It really makes you stronger. When I was growing up, there was a cultural kind of direction around, well, your ultimate success or measurement of success is that you are with a good husband. And, I understood what that meant. And this is not something that's bad. We all want to be happy and everything, but it should not be an ultimate goal. You also, as a human being, you have personal goals, you have career goals, you have things that make you feel that you're accomplishing something beyond just the personal, being with the right partner, as important as it is. So for me, I felt like I had to overcome that and prove to myself first, before anybody else, that I am actually a successful engineer, that I am successful being a team member with the company that I worked at, that I'm able to influence and be influenced and learn from others. All of these things made me actually kind of more even determined to show that I am capable of achieving those goals beyond just what is expected out of me. That was one, I guess I would say, for the lack of a better term, I was going against the current a little bit, until I started to feel that the family started to understand that this is what makes me happy. I am not in a rush to just, to jump into a personal commitment versus actually pursuing my education, my higher education, and my career goals. And in fact, you find a way to balance the two. It's never either or, right? So the more that I get a pushback, the more I was determined to be successful. And it's in a, hindsight right now, I look at it and I go, thank you for, pushing me through this hardship kind of. It was in a way the best thing that ever happened to me, that I am able to be here today.
Wow. No, that's strong. I love to hear that. So it's like some people just put all their eggs in one basket, and this is for guys and girls, by the way, and just say, if I find that ultimate partner, I'm going to get married and have kids, and I'm done. But, yes, you have a family and children, and you looked at that as very important, but you also looked at the other side of this and saying, you know what? I can do this, and I'm going to make sure that I'm educated and I'm driven and motivated, and I'm also going to build a business. And you wore two hats very successfully. So I give you a lot of credit, for any male or female, doesn't really matter. That's huge to me. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
If I might also add, Bill, so, male or female, that's a huge point. I'm not trying to basically say only females, have hardships, but it is really each one of us, everybody that's listening to this podcast, you can point out one or two hardships that you've been through in your life. We all have different experiences, right? The key thing here is to really, yes, you have to go through it. You have to go through the phases of dealing with it. But at some point, there has to be some sort of a triumph. There has to be a way that you create this goal that will help you exit from that situation and makes you excited about achieving that, so you can feel even more powerful, stronger, that you're able to take on even more challenges in the future. So certainly I really was excited to talk to you, Bill, about this, that I definitely want to share that there is a good side of going through hardships, and that really depends on you, the person that goes through it.
Yep, that's exactly right. Let me ask you too, off the script here, like a more personal question. Do you feel that this drive and the energy and determination, do you feel that this is something that you were just born with and it was ingrained in you, or do you feel that maybe as the years went on, you went in different directions and you ultimately learned a lot about yourself and then decided, hey, I want to be like this or like that? Do you think it's something that people can learn along the way, or is it something that you're pretty much born with? It's you are like this or you're not? Just your opinion. I'm curious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I actually think that you're not born with it. I mean, I do acknowledge the scientific evidence beyond, the fact that some of us think, more creatively, right? And some of us think more analytically. I understand how sometimes, our DNA can contribute to our tolerance towards certain situations or our, persistence towards others. But I do believe 100%, even more, that really the ability to be resilient, to be able to withstand hardships and to be able to overcome that, it really comes down to the person, right? They learn that as they go through their life. It's a basically environmental, influence in their life. They can obviously have a mentor that can help them, or they can be on their own. Either way, really at the end of the day, when you ask yourself, when you're finished with work, let's just say, and you're finished with your conversations with others, including family, if you sat there just by yourself and thought about your day, right, you can actually list situations and decisions that you made that day, whether consciously or subconsciously. It was your decisions that day, what you responded with, how you reacted to something, and how you decided to take a step towards whatever situation. That was your decision, and that decision was not something that you inherited from your grandfather or your mother or whoever. This was something that you decided to do based on your past experiences. If you have this awareness, I believe you have done the 90%, just all of that work is towards acknowledging that you're the accountable person into running your life. And once you are recognizing that, once you understand the power from that, then the next time you're faced with adversity, you can actually remind yourself, I have the power to change this. I have the power to overcome this. I will do what it takes to move on, right? And no matter how long it takes, it's just have that faith that you are able to overcome this, and then you will do whatever it takes. So the quick answer to your question there, Bill, is absolutely you are in charge. Salespeople out there, entrepreneurs, leaders, whoever, that is something that they have the power and ability to choose and then move and shape their future with.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that a very small part of it, you're born with, but I think for the most part, even like that 90% rule, surround yourself with the right people. It's like that circle of five. Show me your 5 friends, and I'll show you what direction you're heading in. I think most of it could be self-taught, be around the right people, and if it's listening, to podcasts or reading the right books or the mentorship, whatever it is, I think that all of us have a shot. I truly believe that. And you hear it all the time with like these pro athletes, that never touched the basketball until they were 15 years old or, whatever the case is. So, yeah, lots of good stories there, and I agree with you 100% on that one. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to jump into where you are today with Legacy Armour, with the platform, with your business life. Can you just let everyone know, give everyone the 100-foot overview of Legacy Armour? What is it? How will it help agents and financial advisors? If you can just jump into that a little bit, that would be great.
That would be my pleasure. Okay, so to all of the insurance agents out there, financial advisors, and anybody else who's listening, just even at a personal level, you sell or you buy a life insurance policy or a financial product, you're providing these assets to your clients, or you're a family member that wants to ensure their family is taken care of. Well, I want to ask you an honest question. What happens when the person that owns these assets, such as a life insurance policy or a financial product, what happens if for some reason suddenly something happened to them? Are they absolutely certain that their family will have access to all of the resources, all of the information that they so desperately will need if they were not around? Not even if they were just passed away. I'm talking incapacitated, which is really important here, right? Also, what will happen if, for your daughter, if she turned 21 or your son turned 18, are you prepared to be able to send them all the information that they need because now they're adults, right? Do you have any information that you want to share with them? Well, Legacy Armour was created because we wanted to solve for this problem. In fact, in the United States alone, we have $60 billion worth of unclaimed benefits. People forget about them or they don't know they exist. And the Legacy Armour mission statement is to solve for this problem one family at a time, hopefully through collaboration with you, the insurance agents and financial advisors, because you're in front of these clients, you're in front of these families, right? Hopefully with that partnership, we can make sure that we provide this kind of service, this very, very valuable service to those people. So where we are today is offering to these end users, the consumer market, and we're trying to provide this service to them with the most, the easiest way possible for them, because it is still a technology and we want to make sure that it's easy to use. But we also, through partnerships such as with Levinson Associates, which is huge for us, we can actually reach more of these clients through you and provide them the service with even the better support and even more with you providing that one-on-one, face-to-face service to them. They will already trust you. They will already know what you're offering to them, and now you can also provide them with that. So that's our current state right now, and we're very excited how we're getting the attention. Like Bill has mentioned, the Securian Award, but that's not it. I mean, this is fantastic, but we're also getting feedback from the users themselves saying, I really needed this. I did not know this existed. I had no plans before I found the service, and this is so important to us. So Legacy Armour is please go ahead, Bill.
No. I'll let you finish, but I just wanted to mention something real quick and what's important, and I want you to finish as soon as I just want to make one comment. So this platform fills this need or this niche that every agent, financial advisor must be bringing this up to their clients. It could be a past client, could be a new client. It's basically just the new way to save important documents, okay? Especially like a copy of a life insurance policy online in a secure vault, so their beneficiaries and loved ones have full access. God forbid something happens to the insured. I mean, it's really that simple. It's that and so much more, which we're going to talk about in just a few more minutes. But I just wanted to give everyone just the black and white version on how this can help you, and it's free for all of our agents. So, all right, Sahar, I'll let you finish. I didn't mean to interrupt there.
No problem, Bill. So I just wanted to finishing up with, the what. So far I've talked about Legacy Armour's the why, right, which is extremely important. And I'll actually want to talk about that later a little bit. But the what, if you're wondering, okay, we know why Legacy Armour is created, but what we do is we encrypt people's important information up to 1 terabyte into secure vaults. And then we have an artificial intelligence engine that runs in the background that will detect if something happened to that information owner and will automatically deliver that information to their designated recipients, beneficiaries. So those life insurance policies, this connection to all of their banks, they have the ability to do that, estate documents, videos, social media accounts. What do we want to have to do with those, right? All of that will be automatically sent through different vaults. You can designate different recipients for different vaults, can be shared with those recipients if something happened to the information owner, or like I mentioned, on a certain date, such as a daughter's or son's birthday, 21st, 18th birthday. So that is the core of the Legacy Armour technology. And then, that is, it's created to service clients. Really, the demographic is everybody in this case. And we want to work with you, the insurance agents and financial advisors, to help us service those clients even more.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And what is, along those lines, what is your ultimate vision, for the company, the direction you're heading in? What would you love to see, change? What's the 1,000-foot, overview vision for the company and you? What would you say that is?
It's a two kind of pronged approach. So the $60 billion of unclaimed benefits in the United States, if we can put a dent in that, and we're measuring this, obviously each year we're going to keep measuring that. If we can start saying, hey, this global service, but at least at the United States level for now, this service is able to solve for this problem by reducing unclaimed benefits by, let's just say, first 1%, 2%, right? We're measuring this because this is the way we can see if we're doing a good job or not, right? So our vision is to really reduce this problem of unclaimed benefits so we can address issues with, like, families being homeless when their major breadwinner passes away, or something happens where you have homelessness. I can tell you stories about how I was walking in the streets interviewing and doing surveys before starting the company, and the stories that I saw that made me even more determined to create the company, where families basically had no access to things that they probably owned. They just did not know they existed, and there were some consequences to that. So the goal is to reduce the problem of unclaimed benefits. The second goal here is to really work with partnerships such as Levinson's, and then also the producers, to maybe apply just the artificial intelligence engine by itself to words where if somebody purchased a life insurance policy, for example, the producer company themselves, the insurance producers, can predict using the AI engine, or at least be alerted if there's something going on, that they can in fact reach out and work with that policy owner, or if they're not responsive, with their family, to expedite the claim process. I know I might sound dreamy saying this, but in fact, we did have already conversations, I won't mention the names, but with some producers where there's interest in seeing how effective that might be for them, not just for quality, customer, service and quality reasons. It's also from their end for compliance and, risk management reasons. So if we can meet those two goals, no matter how long it takes over the next 25 years, then I think we are successful.
That was good. Yep. I love that. I love that. And just so for everyone on the line that's following along, I hope you're listening, you're in tune with this, but just in layman's terms, what Sahar is talking about is there's millions and millions of dollars of these life insurance policies that are unclaimed, which means someone paid month after month or year after year all these premiums, okay? And then when they passed on, no one knew that they had the policy or who to contact or what company it was with. So what does that mean? The government literally has taken over and everything is went by the wayside. So this is a big problem that not many people talk about. And what Sahar has come up with is a great solution that everybody should have. So this is free for agents and for a client to enroll and have their own vault up and running tomorrow morning. It's less than the price of a Starbucks cup of coffee a month, okay? $50 for the year. So if you talk about value add, okay, we even have a package where agents could give this to all of their clients, current clients, past clients, and every time they log in, they're going to see your picture, your name, your phone number, and every time there's a change, you could be notified. So it also keeps your name in front of your clients forever. Okay, so this is all great stuff, and I just hope I didn't want to confuse anyone, but this is a major problem in the U.S. right now, and Sahar has come up with a great workaround solution, and every agent should be talking about this. And I'm going to also, and I hate to get off script again, I tend to do this when I get excited, but
sure. I love it.
I think it's important to think about this as an agent out there, okay? The platform is free, so you have your own platform up and running tomorrow at no charge. You have to enroll, obviously, on our website. And then, so there's basically three packages, and I don't want to steal your thunder, Sahar, but it's important for me to note. Package one is, yes, you pass along the savings to your consumer, and they pay $50 a year for the platform. And there's many add-ons, by the way, that all come with it at no extra charge that I'll let Sahar talk about. But package number two allows you as the advisor, right, to charge $150 a year for the platform, okay? Your consumer pays this every year. You walk away with $100 year one as a marketing allowance or fee. Let's just say on a 20-year term, years 2 to 20, you get another $75 every single year. So now, let's just say you sold a cheap 20-year term, whatever, $75 a month, could be very inexpensive. If we just use an average street-level commission, okay, packaged in with your marketing fee from Legacy Armour, you're making over 200% of the annual premium in commissions and or marketing fees. So that's on a 20-year term. Now imagine like a permanent UL or a permanent whole life product. Every year that client is enrolled and they pay for the platform, you're getting your marketing allowance check forever. Okay, so as long as that platform stays in force or active, you're getting paid every single year. That's with package two. Now, package three is $185 a month that you pay for. Okay, but this is the coolest part. Package three, you can give this away at no charge to all of your clients, past, present. So now, let's just say you had a huge book of business. You're talking about thousands or hundreds of clients or policyholders. every time they log in to their secure vault, they make a change, an update, they're going to see your name, phone number, picture. You talk about like policy reviews or referrals, or if they need to buy new insurance, or they're going to see your name and they're going to call you every step of the way. So there's 3 different options for you. I don't want to bore you, but all of the information is on our website. But this is so cool. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to disrupt the industry. And I'm not just using that word loosely. Okay, you're going to see a year or 2 or 3, you're going to hear more about this and press releases. And, oh, by the way, we also just had a press release launched with them about 2 weeks ago. So you'll see that as well on our website. Okay. Do you want to,
Yep.
Sahar, I got a little excited there. Do you want to add anything else before we jump into some like field stories and stuff? Is there anything else you want to mention about the company or the value
I would
add?
love that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay,
I just want to mention a couple two points here, Bill, which is everybody that's listening to the podcast, do you feel the passion in Bill's, voice and how he's talking about servicing, the clients? And I know you share that same passion with him. So I want to just try to articulate even again the importance of feeling that passion towards when you're already servicing your client with such high quality products, that you can also help them beyond your initial engagement with them by allowing them to protect their family's legacy and their loved ones, right? This is, it would absolutely be fantastic for everybody to join this movement, this wanting to solve for this problem. But then that really brings me to the second point, which is, hey, we're all business owners, right? You are running a business. You're trying to grow your business. So this platform won't make sense to you if it did not help you grow that business while you're helping your clients. And I just want to share with you, like Bill has talked to you about the different plans and the little bit of features that are within the platform. It is made for you, the agents and advisors, to be able to stay in touch with your clients for years to come and put your brand in front of them so you can grow your business and also sell to more clients. So we're not just asking you to believe in our mission statement and solve for unclaimed benefits, as important as it is, and it's really just absolutely fantastic to help with that. But also we want you to feel that as you're doing that, it is something that helps you grow your business, and it's a win-win for you.
Yep, no, I agree. And also keep in mind, if you're involved more in the health insurance side, okay, this could be used for health policies. If you're involved in the P&C space or the annuity world, okay, which we have most of this stuff, and I know most of you are selling these products, you can also use this as the door opener for those products as well. It's not just life insurance. So, this goes on and on and on, especially think about like a call center environment. If you have 20, 30 agents working in a call center, okay, I would do that unlimited package and enroll everyone. That's another no-brainer. So there's so many ideas, and we have marketing pieces and videos all built around this concept. And at the end of the day, it's just a value add with you helping your consumer. And that's it. Okay, so we're going to shift gears a little bit. I always like to hear like some good stories. This could be Legacy Armour industry related or personal stories, whatever it is, but anything like motivating, inspiring that our audience can learn a little bit from. Do you have anything that you want to share, Sahar, maybe growing up or maybe now, fast forward in your adult life, or anything for the good of the cause?
Sure. I have two stories. One of them has, lesson learned, but then the second one is just simply funny, and it doesn't have any lesson learned. So I just wanted to share that with you on this podcast. So, the first one is really, like I touched on a little bit. It was the why versus the what. So. You are all business owners, you're working with your clients, and this is, at least the outcome of this story is that don't focus on what you do, but most like on why you do it. And I learned this from being on the field. So I was thinking, okay, we need a service. I need to build this company, and I'm going to go out on the streets. And I actually traveled even to Florida, and I traveled to other states to just walk to people while they're just, strangers, complete strangers, and say, hey, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? I heard a lot of no's, obviously, but the people that talked to me, it was definitely a beautiful experience. But here's where I learned how I was doing things wrong at first. So I would approach them and I say things like, are you married? Do you have children? What is important to you? But then I would say something like this. Would you buy a service that, will protect everything you have? And people will say, what is that? Like, what is that service? And being techie myself, I would start using things like, well, we would use encryption, and we would use artificial intelligence, and all this stuff. And I'd hear something like, well, good for you. You're smart. Oh, do you need anything else? Right? I need to move on. Right? And I'd be thinking to myself, what just happened? I just lost them. Right? I'm not able to connect with this person. Then as I started to do this more and I started to read up on, doing surveys and dealing with clients. And by the way, I do teach this at my, at the university. I have that kind of commitment on the side to work with students who want to be on the field in sales and in IT. So anyway, as I learned, from this, I realized that emotion and, is what drives you to connect. And I know that sounds maybe to a lot of you folks listening on the podcast, well, yeah, of course, we already knew that. But I cannot, to me, the big revelation, the aha moment, like, oh my gosh, this is it, was when I started talking to them about, well, how do you feel about this? Using words like, how can we resolve a problem together? How can we address this concern that you have? Are you worried about this? How can I help you, fix that, secure that? So the tone of my voice, meaning the words, the descriptive words that I started to use, which were genuine still. I still had the same intention. But the way I communicated with these prospects or clients was through connecting with emotions. So I just wanted to share with you how frustrating it was for me at first. I was feeling like a complete failure, and I'm like just scratching my head going, this should be a good service. Why don't they get it? And it was because I was being too, subjective about, certain things, and I was not able to connect with those people. Until I was able to do that, then the information started to flow my way. This is what I would like to have, and that's what I would like to have. I need to connect my bank accounts. I need to put this. I want my social media. All of that started to happen as soon as I connected emotionally. So
wow. So you changed the pitch. You changed the pitch a little bit, and then obviously the results were much different.
They were so much different, and I'm sure for the sales folks out there, like you're selling, you're on the field, you're running around, you're spending money to generate leads and all that, and it's just, to me, I know it sounds like of course, Sahar, what are you talking about? We already knew this, but it was a revelation for me that you need to connect emotionally with the client first before you convince them. No matter what quality products you have, you first have to connect emotionally with them. So that was a story that I learned by being on the field and doing all those initial surveys. Now,
yeah, no, that's great.
So
basically hit the streets and just to talk to the public about the platform and try to gather their thoughts on it. That was the intent.
Absolutely. I did that in the U.S., and I also did that in Europe when we thought of branching there, which we did. You can imagine, Bill, walking around in the streets of Holland. I don't speak Dutch, and this strange woman coming up to people saying in English, yes, hello, how are you? I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, and I'm speaking in English. And all I knew was the word danke wel, they just thank you very much, danke, and they would just, they would look at me like, is she trying to, like, is there somebody else trying to snatch my wallet or something like that? It's just so, it was so weird, but I, wanted to hear the voice of the customer, and I was not communicating well at first. I thought it was cool to say technology A, technology B. Nope. It's really, why do you need this, right?
Yeah, that's a great list.
So, yeah.
I love it. I feel like we all have been down that road before. I mean, it could be in a client's house or an office, or it doesn't really matter what you're selling. But yes, you're right. I feel like you always have to try to build the relationship a little bit first, and then go in with the product or whatever. But that's how you learn. They say in an airplane, if you're heading from Florida to Minnesota, the pilot constantly checks the screen and the navigation to make sure that they're staying on course, and sometimes they have to change the route a little bit because of weather or whatever, and I feel like the same with humans and especially salespeople. So that's exactly to your point, Sahar. I love it. Love it.
Yeah. Now, it's funny. The second story I wanted to share with you guys is not everything we talk about has to have a purpose, right? But I just wanted to share with you, I still am puzzled by this. So I was at a client site with one of our sales representatives, and he kept on repeating the same sentence in front of the client. And that sentence would be something like, Legacy Armour is the only service that will protect your clients securely and easily. And then 5 minutes later, Legacy Armour is the only service that will protect your clients securely and easily. So I was looking at him going, stop. You can't keep doing that. I mean, they get it, okay? This is not, you keep saying it, and it's very obvious. And I'm just looking across the room, just around me, embarrassed because, our sales guy is just repeating himself over and over and over again. And I was thinking to myself, this is not going to happen. We're not closing this contract, or this is not going to work. Then it's funny because towards 30 minutes into the meeting, I heard the client say, well, okay, since Legacy Armour is the only service that protects our clients securely and easily, we want to know how we can start implementing that and selling it and talking, and he started bringing up additional talking points, but he rephrased our salesperson's, repeating that sentence over and over again, where it became basically, a fact for them, which, I mean, it is, but I'm just talking about a sales meeting here where you're trying to convince the other side, your client, your prospect to just buy from you. So it was very interesting for me to see this because, I felt like he was doing the Jedi move, on the client, just waving and saying this is what it will be. But I really don't know what to conclude of this. I just wanted to share with everybody and maybe have them think about their experience. I personally am not good at doing this kind of technique, but it seems that maybe saying something once is not necessarily the best way. Maybe you want to repeat your value proposition. I don't know. Again, I just wanted to share with you. It makes me laugh every time I remember this story.
Oh, I think it's great. Is the salesperson still with you, or no more?
No, he's still with us. He's still with us.
There.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And,
all right. He did something right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move forward. We're running just a little behind, so I want to make sure we get most of these questions for the audience. And this pertains to everyone, industry related or not, women, male, doesn't make it, young, old, doesn't matter. I think this is good though, and I would love to have Sahar's take on any career advice. I get a lot of questions, emailed in and, hey, could you help mentor me, or what's your advice? I'm going through this or that in school or college or whatever it is. And, they always ask about career advice and anything that can help our listeners remain focused and disciplined. Is there anything that you could speak about, or maybe a certain book or something to stay focused on, or a mentorship or whatever it is? Coach, What's your suggestion to the audience?
Absolutely. So, in fact, I'm thinking of a couple, but yeah, since we're short on time, I'll focus on the most important one in my mind, which is what is referred to as situational leadership. This is something where you, the entrepreneur or business owner or person, doesn't matter. You're looking at the person in front of you, and you're assessing, basically how there are two aspects of that: how competent they are, and then how willing they are to engage with you. And based on those two factors, you are deciding in your head how to communicate and how to respond to them. So if you Google the situational leadership and learn more about, those four quadrants that depend on those two variables, I feel that understanding contributes to your contextual awareness of when you're sitting in a room. You're listening to the body language, you're listening to what is being said, and you're able to respond to that based on how the person in front of you is communicating with you. So as a career advice, I would really say don't just focus on your knowledge of your products and how you can sell them. It really has to be that you have to sharpen this skill where you're able to listen and read the room and then address, what's being said and done. And in fact, it requests feedback. Be flexible, change your strategy if need be, focus on what the client wants so you can connect with them, like we said, emotionally. This situational awareness will take you miles ahead in terms of your business growth. And to me, that really has worked the most.
Yeah, no, that's good. And, it's funny. I was just listening to a Tony Robbins podcast about Blue Ocean, and what they were saying was, you're always going to the market, to sell something or to recruit someone, or, try going to the market with a survey and just with the intention of getting good feedback. And how can you make your company better no matter what you do? Like, in other words, hit the market with a totally different message and just saying, hey, I don't want to sell you anything. I want your feedback. I want you to take a minute and fill out this survey and help that, change the direction of you or your company. So, that's also a good point. But I like that, Sahar. That's spot on. Okay, so, let's. Yeah. No, we love it. Anything that we can learn from this is a win, in my opinion. So, all right, now we all go through this at one time or another. We have tough decisions come up, roadblocks, obstacles. I know for me, I have to, go to the gym after work. I spend an hour there. I do some cardio, and, it's also important for me to do some personal hobby stuff on the weekend. I have to clear my head. I know if I don't go to the gym that day, it doesn't matter if I'm stressed out of my mind or I'm having the best day ever. The gym is going to take me back to that place where I need to be day in and day out. So what do you have any? It could be a walk around the block or yoga, or maybe you read a book or listen to a podcast. Is there anything that you rely on that you can share with everyone?
Sure. I mean, there are so many things that you can do. Definitely, working out is extremely important. I like to play the piano. It really relaxes me. I feel that music is something where I can actually meditate somewhat and think clearer. I also, again, the family is a good place to go to and bounce ideas off and everything. But when it comes to really just business and business decisions, I don't even know how to say it. It's just, to me, I have to feel that I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, right? And if that means I have to seek some sort of validation by reading up some more, or by bouncing the idea off of somebody I trust, or even just, like I said, meditating and thinking on my own and seeing what makes sense versus not, that combined with the physical activities, so now my mind is clear, my body is healthy. I feel that, my goal is always to survive and be on top of things, is that I'm comfortable with myself. I have to feel comfortable with myself to be able to proceed with whatever it is I need to do. I combine it with reading, with music, with working out, with family and good relationships, good support. That all together, not always works all the time, but it does act as a resource for me to, again, I keep repeating it, to feel comfortable with myself as a person and as entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, that's great. You forgot the most important one though, with the sailing. I think that's probably your number one go-to.
I did not. We're just recently starting to do that. In fact, we're trying to finish. We want to do some more sailing hours. And thanks for bringing that up, because I've just returned from a trip where we were sailing. This is just beyond anything I can imagine or describe. So yes, now what I talked about with the physical activity and the meditation and the family relationship and the music and everything else.
Yes.
So your wind is your music, and your putting the sails up and down is your physical activity, and staring at the horizon is your meditation. And all of this is just unbelievable. So yeah, for all of you out there, if you can find something like this that is your passion and that gets you to be the, calm, comfortable with yourself human being, right on, just do it, right? And keep it important as well.
I'm with you. If you ever have a chance to sail, you got to try it once.
Oh, okay. I would. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right. So I love this one, and I ask all of our guest speakers about this question. So, yes, everything sounds great now, but I know you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot when I was younger, and, good times and bad times. Now, being in the place you are and then looking back, say 10, 15, 20 years ago, is there any tips or advice you would have told the younger Sahar, anything that you wish you knew then that you know now that you would have shared?
Yeah, definitely. I did say that being comfortable with yourself, but I don't want to bore everybody saying it again. But it really, I wish I did not second guess myself so much. I had the drive, I had the purpose, but I crippled myself. And I'm being really honest here with all of you. I probably haven't, I wouldn't have met any of you here, but I wish I did not second guess myself so much. It's exhausting. And I, was driven by the fact that I wanted to accomplish something that I probably forgot, along the way, that there were people that I could have reached out to and seek, some more help from. And so Sahar, the younger Sahar, should have been wiser to take in more advice from people that, were there for her, and also not spend so much time saying, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Yes, I'll do that. Okay, was this right? Did I say this correctly? Maybe, is this the first thing I should do? It's just tiring and exhausting. Trust your instinct. Follow your passion, I think. And heck, you make mistakes, sure. We all make mistakes. That it should be okay to learn from those mistakes. I was afraid of that, and I kept second-guessing myself. So, yeah, if I go back and talk to that younger Sahar, I just say, just do it. Don't wait. Just do what you've always wanted to do and make mistakes, learn from that, seek help from others, and just move on.
Yeah. And I say that all the time. I'm like, your gut feeling, like 99% of the time, is usually the right feeling. So that's
oh
valid.
My God, absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to face it, but it's usually the truth. So there you have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move around just a little bit here, and I want to talk about, and I feel like this is something that every day we have to work on as professionals, and I know you've been very successful with everything that you've done, Sahar, and I respect you for that. And I think the audience would love to hear, discipline, punctuality, respect, work ethic. I feel like always doing the right thing, which I think growing up when you're younger sometimes is a little tough to do. When you learn, when you get a little older, that, you, even if it doesn't benefit you, you must always do the right thing. You learn that down the road. Being prepared for, a meeting or even this kind of podcast, whatever it is. So what I wanted to ask, and I think the audience can have a little takeaway here, is where did all of this come from in your life? And, why do you think that this, was this taught, from your family, a mentor, a coach? Where did it come from? And the why behind it? Like, why is this important to you?
It is extremely important. Ethics, discipline, punctuality are extremely important. As I shared with everybody, I came from a family environment where both parents were teachers. They echoed those values, and it was expected of us, the children. And I do attribute most of that actually to my father. He was passed away and no longer with us, but he definitely expected that out of me. I was the eldest from 4 children, and he taught me that they were watching me and my siblings, and that I needed to demonstrate the same values. And in fact, he would ask me to come and join him when they're sitting, with older family members, and to watch and learn, some of those values. And I do remember one thing that was always said, which was he would say something like, we're all born differently. We have, some of us are tall, some of us are short. I mean, I think he was simplifying things for me back then. But he said some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us have, a certain color versus others, hair color, eye color, it doesn't matter. But we all are born with the same time on our hands. And so when you show up late to an important, and when I'm waiting for you, you're stealing my time. You're not respecting my time. And so this really, I remember as a young, girl, just resonated with me. I was like, oh, that doesn't feel good that you're stealing somebody's time. So punctuality and respect were earlier ingrained in us as children. And now, as adults, I understand things happen, traffic, things, go on. But you really have to be able to at least work towards, showing the other person that you respect them, that you're punctual, that you're, disciplined enough to show them that you care. And that is really the way you can build that trust. Because yes, why would we want to steal their time, right? And that's just talking about punctuality as a work ethic. There are so many other work ethics which are, again, back to us as human beings, right? We are all trying to make better people out of ourselves. We're trying to, be successful in things. And I really believe that if you, again, you look and examine yourself and you see what you're doing. Are you, when you go to bed at night, are you comfortable with that? Are you happy with that, right? And apply that towards other people. So now you expect them to treat you the same way. I feel that reflects on your work ethics and business. So I'm sorry I'm sounding like I'm preaching. I'm not. I'm just really, I'm happy to be given this opportunity to share with you that, yes, respect, punctuality, work ethics are definitely what makes you different. I feel that these are more important to me than finishing up a sale or closing a sale. It's building those relationships and establishing that trust that maybe not this year, next year will evolve into a business transaction, maybe not, but being that person is just absolutely the most important thing. When we all pass away one day, people are not going to say Sahar was, she closed deal A and B and C. They're going to say she was there for me when I needed this. She gave me advice, or she was on time, respected me, treated me well, all those things.
Yeah, that's huge. And it's like with all of the great guest speakers that we've had, Fortune 500 guy, actually my mentor, Jeff Levitetz, Gary Vaynerchuk, we've had some huge names already in a short time. And the one thing that always is the same, you always get the same answer, is no matter what industry they were in, their focus and vision was always bringing value to the end customer or consumer and not looking at the sale or the dollar amount. And they said what always comes at the end is the money. You don't have to worry about that. If you focus on bringing value, and even if it doesn't mean a sale right away, but you're bringing lots of value and you're educating, it doesn't matter what you're doing, okay, the money's going to come. I don't care what you do. If you're doing a great job at it and you're truly bringing that value add mission and statement and everything else that goes along with it, the paycheck is going to come at the end. I truly believe that in my heart. And everyone that comes on here says the same exact thing, okay? So you're seeing a pattern there.
That's good. Yeah, yep. This is great. Great.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
Open up to the world, and it will open back to you. That's really the final thing. Yep.
That's right. All right. So right before we close up here, what I wanted to do is just give you, Sahar, the opportunity, if there's, any comments, suggestions, advice for the audience, could be about, let's say the insurance industry, Legacy Armour, or maybe just a personal message to all the women and men out there. Maybe some are struggling, maybe some are at the top of their game, whatever it is. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we close up?
Absolutely, and I am so, Bill, I am really honored for you to ask me that question, and just for this whole line of questioning, that we're not just talking about insurance and finance and sales. We're talking about us as human beings and what makes us better, different, and the one closing statement I would have for everybody here is really, when you are facing, every life events every day, just strive to be, trusting in yourself, your instinct, and also, overcome adversity by, having that resilience that we talked about in the situational awareness of what's going on around you. But, know that with that there will be outcomes even in the long term. People like the famous people that you see, that they're successful, there must have been a driver for them at some point in their life, but also they should not lose sight of the fact that as human beings, they have to maintain good relationships, not just with immediate circles, but then even beyond, and obviously including the clients. So I'm honored to be able to share that with you, and I just wanted to, reiterate and confirm that these were the only things that I found out that have attributed to my ability to sustain running a business and stay healthy, mentally and physically, is just keeping, a close, just awareness of all of these values that we just talked about today. So I'm really, thank you so much, Bill, for this opportunity to talk to the audience, and I hope that was really helpful for them today.
Yeah, no, this was great. I feel like if I learned something, I know the audience will. So now, and the real trick for everyone, we're all pumped up. We got inspired and motivated, which is great. And I hope you have some notes, because the trick is here, when you get frustrated or you had a rough day or things didn't go right on a certain deal, how do you stay in this place, day in and day out, and remember this podcast episode, okay? Remember that feeling that you had, I can do anything and conquer the world, and, well, tomorrow when the deal falls through and you didn't wind up making whatever it was, remember where you were today on this episode. So write something down, like I call them anchors, and get back to that place, okay? Go look in the mirror and just say, hey, I need to be myself and remember those feelings and emotions that I had. Let's say it was a Tuesday at 2 o'clock when I heard the episode, whatever it was. I just think those anchors are so important. So you can feel like this day in and day out, even when things aren't going your way. All right, this was awesome. Some of the great takeaways that I learned from today, which Sahar, I truly appreciate your time. Some of the things that I personally, of course. Some of the things that I personally took away from this and jotted down were great. Number one is, it doesn't matter where you come from, city, state, country. It doesn't matter what color you are, white, yellow, black, purple. Doesn't make a difference. Your gender, your age. You must be comfortable in your own skin. We're all human at the end of the day. We bleed the same color. We're all capable of the same things. Sahar's a great example and proof of that. Look at what this woman has accomplished in a short time. I mean, it's unbelievable. So as you can hear her wisdom and the values, it's mind-boggling. I love to hear that stuff. Number two is no second-guessing yourself and go with your gut. There's so many times when your gut is telling you, I really got to do this. And you're hearing this voice in the background saying, well, if it doesn't work out, this or this could happen. No. Go with your gut, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay. You learn from it. You go back to the drawing board, and you do it again all over. So I love number two. Number three is giving back. Okay, we all must give back. It doesn't matter how successful or not, whatever. It doesn't matter if it costs you $10,000, $10, or may cost you nothing to go volunteer somewhere. We just had this hurricane in the Bahamas, and, Levinson did our part to give back, and I hope you're doing the same, not just with a hurricane, but anything. There's so many different things that you could help out with, and there's so many people that need our help. So anyway, just think about that as well, because I feel like, we were talking earlier about, at the end of the day, if you bring the value, don't look at the number or the money you're getting back. It's always going to come back to you, okay? And the same thing with giving back, okay? Just do it because it's the right thing to do, not because you're going to make some dollars or a new deal. You have to look at yourself in the mirror, okay, and say to yourself, I did the right thing, I gave back, or I brought the value add. You have to answer to you, and that's so, so important. Okay, with that said, enough ranting. I want to thank Sahar once again. Legacy Armour, Levinson and Associates joining forces. Very, very excited. We're featured in Insurance Newsnet in the November Tech Guide. We have a press release that was just launched. This is just the beginning, folks. Thank you for joining us. Once again, I hope you walked away with some great nuggets of information and had a great experience on the Bill Levinson Experience. Thanks again, and take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Bill Levinson Experience. Please feel free to share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested. You may also visit levinsonandassociates.com and all of Bill Levinson's social media pages for more information.